On today's UI7 Newsbreak, a decision has finally been reached regarding Champaign's Unit 4 referendum.
Plus, Champaign County had its highest voter turnout within the past few years. See which candidate won the popular vote in the county.
Then, the 45th president has been elected, and his name is Donald Trump. See what had to happen in order to make the impossible possible.
Your UI7 Newsbreak starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, this is your UI7 Newsbreak.
Hello and welcome to UI7 Newsbreak. I'm Dakota Carson.
And I'm Walker Post.
It's been a 3-year battle for the passage of the Champaign Unit 4 referendum.
UI7's Andrew Muser has more on the results of one of the largest educational referendums in the state's history.
Build programs, not jails. That was the message the residents of Champaign Unit 4 schools got across loud and clear as they took to the polls. For the third time in as many years, residents were asked whether or not they would approve a tax increase in order to renovate and expand 6 local schools. But for Champaign resident Troy Dean, passing this referendum will not come easy.
But you just never know with voters, man. I wouldn't, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on it. You got to do it voters.
The Unit 4 referendum is a $208 million project with $25 million coming from the district's reserve, while village trustee Jan Nicholm says the rest of the cost falls on the voters.
We do have a lot of people that it doesn't matter how much the tax increase would be, they're pro-school, so they're going to support it. We have other people that are on fixed incomes that it does make a major difference to them.
Fixing the schools is more important than tax increase, says Dean.
We do need upgrading facilities and stuff in this area and population growth, and we have to do something about that. And it'd be just ignorant just not to do nothing.
An enormous amount of time and effort came from the Unit 4 school board to get this new referendum on the ballot.
I've always said that it's not a perfect plan. There's a lot of compromise in this. We don't have brand new fields out the back door, but we tried to answer that as best as we could by condensing down a little bit. But we're able to do quite a bit of the wish list.
Luckily for the school board, they finally got what they asked for.
It's about 9:45 p.m. here at the Champaign County Clerk Office, and the Unit 4 referendum can be considered a victory. With 21,000 yeses, 11,000 noes, 70% of the vote is in, so we're still waiting for the final tally.
This was a major step forward for the community, explains Colpel.
I think the biggest thing right now is just so proud. Really proud of the board, the district, the community, really a group effort on all fronts, and so just can't be happier for the community, really.
The school community can sleep happy tonight knowing that after 3 tries, the referendum finally passed. In Urbana, I'm Andrew Muser, UI7 Newsbreak.
As the general election came to a close, many residents came out to the polls to vote in yesterday's election, and the turnout made history. Long lines greeted voters who wanted to cast their vote for the 2017 general election. According to Champaign County Clerk's office, about 69% of voters came out to cast their ballots. Turnout for this election was a bit higher than the March primary election, where only 50% of voters turned out. Last night's results showed about 55% of votes in Champaign County went to Hillary Clinton and 36% to Donald Trump. Champaign County Clerk Gordy Holton stated there was a reason why turnout was much higher in Champaign County than in years past.
U of I students traditionally vote in much higher numbers for presidential elections. We've got obviously a race for president that is generating a lot of attention. I think our campus numbers are going to be the highest we've ever seen.
Holton also reports that the total number of registered voters and votes cast this year were at the highest ever in Champaign County.
History has been made. Americans chose Republican Donald Trump's vision for the country Tuesday night, electing him the 45th president of the United States. Trump battled his way through a 17-candidate Republican primary and topped former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Trump carried swing states Pennsylvania, Florida, and Ohio to win the Electoral College 289 to 218, with 5 states uncalled. Republican Senate candidates followed Trump's winning ways, retaining control of the upper house of Congress by keeping seats in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Missouri. Turning to Illinois races, Democrat Tammy Duckworth was selected to be Illinois' next junior senator, beating out incumbent Mark Kirk. Republican Rodney Davis will continue to represent the 13th District of Illinois in the House of Representatives. He won re-election over Democrat Mark Wicklund.
Voters new and old headed to the polls to cast their vote for this year's election. One first-time voter made his vote count. UI7's Sarah Allen sat down with a first-time voter and was able to shed light on the significance of voting.
People in Champaign are serving their civic duty by voting in this year's presidential election. Whether it's a person's 10th time voting or a person's first time voting, people made their way to the polls to cast their votes. Peter Danos is a first-time voter in a presidential election, but he sure is not a newcomer when it comes to politics. Danos put forth his interest in politics by working in D.C. over the summer for newly re-elected Congresswoman Sherry Bustos. He also was a campaign surrogate for his uncle. George Danos ran for county auditor this year and unfortunately lost in a close race, losing by 131 votes countywide. With Peter's experience, he has learned the significance of voting and spreads the knowledge to everyone about the importance of voting in any election.
But it's important to also vote at the presidential or, people that skip the governor's race or the Senate race, a lot of times miss out because there's a lot of different issues that happen at the federal level that affect our everyday lives.
George Danos, who ran for county auditor, agrees with his nephew about the importance of students voting at a local level.
And it makes sense for them to vote locally because this is the community they now live in most of the year. And as the flagship university, the U of I depends a lot on state actions, and so you should vote in state.
There have been many reasons why students decide not to vote. One of the top reasons being registration. Many students decided not to vote because they're not registered to vote in Champaign. But at many poll locations, you can register to vote in Champaign and cast your vote in the same day. Along with many other people, Danos believes the presidential election has also scared people away from voting because of how heated the arguments have been between the two candidates.
We're not used to hearing our politicians at the highest level of government calling each other names. Because did Barack Obama and Mitt Romney ever call each other names? Did George Bush and John Kerry ever call each other names? No. Did John McCain and So this is like a new thing.
No matter what the outcome is of this election, Danos hopes that this election inspires women to run for political positions and hopes that, at the end, it brings the nation together.
Women going forward now, I hope, will be 50% of our presidents. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the result of this election will be that more women get involved with politics, and I hope that we're able to come together, put aside our differences, because all the rhetoric on both sides, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, Donald Trump loves this country, and at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton loves this country, and they want the best for all people.
Voters old or new like Danos have made their voices count by voting in this year's presidential election. From Champaign, I'm Sarah Allen, UI7 Newsbreak.
Students on campus are shocked by this historic election that no one could have predicted. Illinois student Andy Morales is in disbelief following last night, and he fears there could be worse things to come for Hispanics.
Hatred that he just spread across his speeches in his campaign, I just never thought that America would represent that image to the world. And it's just it's very shocking. It's very shocking, especially being a minority myself and having parents immigrate here and give me this life.
Other students believe Trump can unite this country.
I think we need to really come together and try to see that Donald Trump is going to try to make America great again. And I think there's different interpretations of that as far as what making it great again is.
For better or worse, the U.S. is beginning a new chapter in its history.
The presidential victory for Donald Trump came with a few surprises in terms of how he won the election. Such surprises included Trump breaking the Democratic wall in certain states. States that have been historically in favor of Democratic candidates such as Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan showed to be in favor of the Republican candidate. Florida is another state that held the majority vote in favor of Trump, which marked the first time Florida chose a Republican candidate since the 2004 election. These states that held large amounts of electoral votes were key to the Trump triumph.
When we come back, find out the latest concerns facing the Illini men's basketball team and a big-time recruit.
Also, learn how a local musician is trying to make it big on a small stage.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like Be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60. Now I get it.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terracloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think th're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning. Why?
Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better.
Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Illini basketball fans are on their toes after hearing the latest on recruit Jeremiah Tillman's recent uncertainty. Scout.com's director of basketball recruiting, Evan Daniels, shared a pair of tweets last night for an update on the status of this state's top recruit. Daniels first tweeted, "I've reached out to JT and others multiple times, but haven't heard back. Doesn't mean he's not coming, but why not sign tomorrow? Not sure." A few hours later, he followed with five-star big man Jeremiah Tillman told Scout that he doesn't plan to sign with Illinois during the signing period.
In this edition of See You Neighbor, we head to Champaign's local music scene. UI7's Nico Burton is at the Canopy Club, where one man is looking to save live performances for up-and-coming artists.
Talent, or you have friends with talents, feel free to sign up.
And boy, did they sign up. For local artist Mike Ingram, playing live shows was his first step into a life filled with performing.
That was when I started learning how to play guitar. There was an open mic here at the Canopy Club that was massive. It was some of my first exposure to local music.
And that exposure grew as Ingram hosted open mic nights for 13 years. But with the sudden shutdown of the live shows at a local bar, Ingram turned to the Canopy Club to be the new host.
As you can see behind me, the Canopy Club is just a regular brick facade on the outside. However, thanks to Mike Ingram, on the inside, artists are looking to stand out and be discovered.
Like one artist, Lenny Seward, who is a first-time performer at open mic nights. He says thanks to Ingram, this could be his jumping-off point.
Because it gets you exposure, it gets you experience, and then you can work your way up kind of from the open mics into a more, kind of traditional venue scene.
Seward also says open mic nights mean a lot to the local artists.
For somebody who works a 9 to 5, like, they can get up here and do and say anything they want to for that time slot, and, it can make their week better. It can make their, life better.
And the payoff for Ingram?
People would ask about, ask for advice, or they'd ask questions or whatever. I liked there being a place where they could come and learn how to do that stuff.
Looks like the curtain won't be closing anytime soon. In Urbana, I'm Nico Burton, UI7 Newsbreak.
Well, that is it for this UI7 Newsbreak. For more of our stories, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UI7 Newsbreak.
Thank you, and have a great day.